I learned my house is above a floodplain today.
So that's good.
Well, I've always wondered.
Better than below a floodplain, right?
Yeah, but I've always wondered what goes on in my backyard because this son of a bitch becomes a pond and then the earth starts shooting water out. You remember that, Nick, the first time we saw it? That my backyard starts shooting water.
Sprung a leak.
It just starts shooting
a geyser?
water. Yeah, and then you can feel the hole. So you plug the hole and then another one comes popping up. So it's just like the first time my backyard flooded was a good time. I mean, I put on my waders, I walk through there, and then the thing's just shooting water, and I'm doing like whack-a-mole or whatever it is with these things, and the water's just popping up. So I always wondered. I guess it is a floodplain down there. So
goddamn Yellowstone.
Can't grow anything back there, and also can't build anything back there is what I've learned. It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, so what can you use it for?
Did they declare that
when it's not raining, you can hang out a little bit?
I would assume, but I didn't pay attention. What's going on?
No, I said, what can you use it for then? Is it completely useless?
You can pump balls back there whenever it's when it's dry.
Hell yeah.
Hit golf balls.
It's great when it's dry.
You can hit golf balls back there. It's great when it's dry. Great when it's dry. But when it gets wet, you see, which is probably about once a month, it floods that thing. It makes it green. You know, it's good for viewing. You can hit golf balls in there. You can ride dirt bikes and quads and even a Cadillac Escalade back there. But other than that, on a day-to-day basis, can't have any structures in there is what I'm learning here because Tim McAfee is about to potentially build something back there, and we couldn't do it in the big field.
I mean, the projected cut is still +2, and Tiger's at +3. Oh, look at this. This is your geysers?
Yeah, you see that thing?
Jeez.
That's my, you got to really shovel it, you know? You got
Not
to
stopping. That thing is not stopping.
So you knew, you had to know when you moved in that was like an area where you can't build it.
It was a sunny day.
No, I did not, actually. You got to remember my
Sure,
house.
the previous owners had to disclose that.
I assume they did, but you know how many pieces of paper in that fucking thing? I mean, it was
True.
the price that I got the house for. I was just like, yeah, I'll take whatever problems there are. I can invest however much in this, and it's still a good deal. I just didn't know that I was going to have to, the water heater was going to be done, the air conditioner was going to be done. Just basically everything behind the walls of the house was going to be broken, and I was going to have to update it. And the backyard fucking had 10 geysers in it. There's me plugging one hole, by the way. And I mean, this is, yeah.
This is awesome.
No, it's the whole back.
Oh, no.
It's a bad sign.
So does this happen every time you have a big rain?
Oh yeah, and it'll rain in Indiana, man. I mean, it will. Right there, it is. There's the other one popping up.
But it doesn't flood. Like your house isn't flooding, is it?
No, my house is up on a hill, but there's a barn over here. Listen, this house was purchased because I drove an ATV in the back here from, like, basically right up that way from me is the end of the fence, and then there's some woods, and then there's a creek. And on this side of me, this way, Bob Cavoyan of the Bob and Tom Show lives there. And he had me over for a party or whatever, 4th of July party. It was like a get-together. And he was like, hey, there's a house next door. He has a bunch of land there and a couple houses there. It's kind of like his corner. He said, hey, there's a house for sale next door. It's been for sale for a while. The price is really good. You should take a look at it. And I was, a couple brouhahas deep at that point and probably cloud 10 or 11 because, it was going down. And I hop in an ATV, go back there, and I look at it from the back. And it's like an MTV Cribs house just staring at me. And I was like, in all this? And he's like, all of the land? Yeah, oh yeah. In the front, there's a tire thing, and then that's the house or whatever. There's a Olympic-sized pool back there. And I'm like, for how much? And he told me the price. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. So I literally called the guy that day and said I'd like to buy it. They expedited the entire process, paid cash for it. And then I had to learn about all the problems that normally happen probably during an inspection period. I just didn't do that. I just kind of bypassed all those things. But I love the house. I absolutely love it. It is way too nice. I do not deserve it, but it is a beautiful place. Beautiful place.
Where did you live before this house?
I lived on the other side of town. I had a house over there too. I had it was on actually an old golf course. So I had some land that was a golf course. And it had a barn as well, but it was a smaller house than the one I'm currently in. But I planned on living in that one for a long time. And then I saw the house Bob showed me, and I was like, this is an upgrade very quickly for not that much money. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger there. And they always say, you should get a mortgage out so you don't just dump all your cash into something because then you're house rich or something like that and not cash rich or something. Yeah, I just paid it cash and never looked back. And there's been a couple times where I was like, probably should have done a mortgage there, but nah, to hell with it. We'll move on.
Yeah, they're not going to take it from you. You bought it. You own it. They can't come grab it from you now.
Hey, I almost did a house trade a couple years ago.
Ooh, with who?
Hey,
With who?
Favorite things you've almost maybe done. One of the favorites.
a house trade. Okay, so there was this one particular house that was right on the lake up here that's like 2-3 blocks from my house. I don't live on the lake, but there's a lot of old money on the lake. Like the lake is where there's a lot of money on this lake.
What lake is this?
I think Geist, I believe, is what it's called. Geist is the name of it. It's a nice lake. Okay. I'm not a big lake guy. I think I might become one after a trip to Lake Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never been a big lake guy. But beautiful houses on this thing. And there was this one little inlet or whatever. And I was riding my motorcycle and I was on a back road, just kind of cruising. And I saw this incredible like brick wall. And then it said for sale sign and it had to open driveway, and I was like, I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna go check this out. And I drive down the driveway. It's this long ass driveway, super long. There's like 2 football fields basically on either side of it, like completely flat fields that you could do whatever with it. And I'm rolling back there, and I just see like they had like a fountain, and it was like this entire thing. I'm like, golly! And there's obviously nobody there because the grass is a little high. It's a little bit thick, So I go all the way back there. I look at it, and this house is just gorgeous, just absolutely beautiful. It's right on the lake, and I'm like, okay, I want this house. So I want to see what this house is. So I call the person that's selling the house, and I had met that person before, and I was like, what? How much is this house? And he told me a price. I was like, oh, that's a lot. He was like, but the people that own this house live out of state, and they've been trying to sell this for 5 years. So what I think we can do is potentially try to make a play here or whatever. And the thought was, I said, can I trade them my house so they come into a little bit lower market to try to sell the house, and I can make up whatever difference they think it is via the inspection rate or whatever?
Genius.
And they were like, he was like, that's a good idea. Let's give it a go. So I was this far away from trading houses with somebody. It was this, for some reason at the very end, somebody backed out. I think either the husband or the wife backed out of the deal, and they were like, we still have a house for sale, and this is a house we know nothing about. That's a bad deal. And they were like, yeah, you're right, bad deal. They at the very last second backed out. But I thought I pulled off like the real estate move of the century. I'm like a GM. I'm trading houses. Hey, let me get this one. It would have been quite a come up, especially for what I bought this house for. That would have been a real nice move by me, but it didn't come to fruition.
Should have Dave Sampsoned it too, just bump up your house, bash the other one. Be easy.
That would have been rude.
It's not the craziest idea thrown out there. I guess so if you would have made up the difference between, so they still had to sell a house, but the house to sell was much easier to sell in a lower price bracket than the one
it would
that
have been a win-win.
Exactly.
Win-win. They were tired of paying for landscaping for years that they said they had to keep up with, and they wanted to kind of move on to a new chapter. I'm like, let me help you.
And then you got to make sure the only problem is, Pat, though, I would imagine these people might have an inspection and realize, hey, this is a bit of a floodplain back here. I've seen video of the owner plugging holes that he has posted himself. This might not be the greatest idea for us.
Well, I didn't think about that at the time. And to be honest, it was in the middle of sunshiny time. I'm not sure that the inspector would have known. I don't know if there would have been. I don't even think they would have known that thing was a pond.
I think they can figure those things out. Yeah.
It does become a pond like twice a month or once a month. Just a full pond back there. No fish though. So really, all the drawbacks of a pond and none of.
So what you should do, I think it would help add value to your property, since that land can only be used when the weather is good and when you want to punt footballs. Why don't you dig a giant pond in that area? Make it a legit real pond.
Well, I had a pond at my last house. A lot of upkeep for the pond, especially if you want a water fountain in it. There is a lot of shit you got to do. Clear the algae and this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to put in chemicals and stuff to keep the algae out. You should dye it blue. My in-laws live right next to us. I dyed their pond blue. It looks great.
It's a lot of work though. A lot of work.
Yeah.
I never caught
If
a
you
fish
want
out
it
of that
nice.
pond.
No way. Really?
They said there was fish in it. They said a lot of people caught fish in that pond behind my house, my last house. I never caught a one.
Did you ever try?
Oh yeah. It was like
What were you
chewing.
using?
It was like chewing tobacco at training camp. Every single training camp, somebody was like, "Oh, you gotta try it. You're gonna love it." I'm like, "Well, every other year I hate it, but I'll do it because I think it's gonna be good." And I hate it every single year. That's what happened when people come to my house like, "Oh, we gotta go fish. I'm a good fisherman. This will be fun." I'm like, "Okay." Every other time has been fucking terrible, but here we go. and they would catch fish, and I would sit there and look at them and hold my fucking rod. So maybe no.
Yeah, I'm not a big fisherman either.
I don't know how people do it. Like, I get that there's probably a method, and some people are better than others. There's a reason some people pull big fish all the time, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it. For some reason, I can't figure out fishing. I think it's potentially because I've never really caught a fish other than that swordfish that I caught up in Lake Minnetonka. Yep. Oh, yeah. But I think that is probably a problem. I fail a lot, so it loses my attention quickly.
It's not fun.
Not fun.
If you're going out and you have to cast for 6 hours before anyone catches anything, like, no, I've already been home for 5.5 hours.
Bingo, AJ. Bingo.
I need to catch. Like, fishing is not fun, but catching fish is cool. Like,
Fish
I'll do that. That's why fly fishing is fun. You stay moving the whole time, and you're usually going to get some bites and try to catch some things, and not just sit there sometimes on a boat in giant waves puking, and you still have a 4-hour ride in after you don't catch any fish.
Where was that at?
That's happened many times. Anytime I've been dumb enough to let somebody dupe me into coming out of deep sea fishing. When you're like, I'm like, hey man, I get sick in the car. I'm just gonna tell you, look, oh, you'll be fine. Waters are calm. It's cool. Oh, how far are we going out? We don't have to go out too far. And then all of a sudden, we're 2 hours in, still driving. No sticks in the water. No rods in. And then we finally get there, and I'm like, wait. Whenever we get done not catching fish, we have a 3-hour ride back home in this super choppy waves. I'm like, I'm just not cut out for this. Like, I feel like I'm watching the SIG from Deadliest Catch out here getting around the deck. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. And so now I've tried to make the decision, like, as a 36-year-old, like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I don't want to go out anymore on somebody's boat unless you're going like 40 yards from the dock. I just can't go miles out. I just can't do it.
I agree. I was invited to one of those.
I love boats, but I need to have some kind of power over when we go in, how long we stay out, where we're going to be.
I agree. I completely agree. I did one of those, and I got seasick as well, and I knew it was coming because, you know, at those amusement parks, like the pirate ship, the one that goes back and forth, I can't do it. I get
puke on everybody sitting on that side. Yeah.
Why is that? Is that because I'm soft? I feel like I'm a relatively mentally tough person. You get me on that shit that just starts going like this, I ain't got it, boss.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.